Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're going to take a look at some weapons from Conversion World. So firstly, thank you Conversion World for sending this stuff over to me. I apologise if my voice is still terrible for this. I'll do my best. If you are not familiar with this channel or me, basically I'm obsessed with kitbashing in a big way. Everything I do is kitbash. I cannot stop myself, and so I'm literally constantly on the hunt for especially third-party suppliers who can provide me with awesome weapons. Because sometimes you don't want to buy an entire box of something from Games Workshop just so that you can, have a sword out of it, for instance. And because, frankly, there's some really nice imaginative stuff that comes out of third-party suppliers especially. So, stuff that I've done before, just for reference. So there's like this guy. That is an Emperor's Children Terminator that, again, very heavily kit-bashed out of an Alarus Custodes Terminator. Excellent plumage. I think that's got a Forge World chain axe, and I can't remember where that claw is from. Might be from Anvil. Of course, there are other such examples, plenty of them. Another Custodes Terminator, again, lovely plumage. And it's not just dedicated to Emperor's Children either. There's also that, for instance, which is that's a chaplain that's mixed with various Stormcast bits to make a D&D cleric in heavy armour. So, what do you basically get if you go to Forge World versus what do you get if you go to Conversion World? What do you get from Games Workshop compared to all of that stuff? Let's start out with Forge World because that's probably the easiest way to do it. That is where most people will get their weapons. So we'll use this as an example to start off with. That is from the Legion Praetor set, which I purchased literally only for... What did I buy that for? Oh, it's for the Terminator armor that came in it. Yeah. So I could make my own Chapter Master using also bits from Tiburos the Red Wake. So that Chapter Master cost about £50. What a waste. So what we have here is, again, a weapon from that set. And this is Forge World, and you can immediately see that sword is not in great condition. There's a little bit of an issue right about there. You can see where the block of resin, that nice little chunk sticking out there, is basically just embedded in the blade. Not a great start. Doesn't do much for the detail of that particular item. And if you flip it over, the other side is in a way worse because there's no excuse for the channel in the sword being that mangled, and yet it is. Quality, not that great. So let's do just a comparison with, say, a straight blade from Conversion World, and I've got a couple here, so I'll put a couple down. So we have a very nice sword with kind of a teardrop sort of look to it, blood drop, which obviously very good for Blood Angels if you are into that. I really like that one. I have no idea what the technical name for these things are. I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on swords or swordage. I just know when I like the look of something. But all three of those blades, the quality is really, really good. It's worth pointing out that I haven't cleaned them. I haven't touched them. Well, I have touched them. I touched them to take them out of the bag and then stick them in front of the camera. I've not done any prep work. I've not dunked them in soapy water or given them a rub or anything like that. I've just taken them out of the bag and started recording. That's literally what has happened so far. So the fact that they are so clean is really nice, and there's not much in the way of kind of, they haven't flexed or warped particularly. They're nice and straight. They're exactly what you would want to get out of a weapon that you're just going to put straight on a model without having to mess around too much. They are very nice quality. So yeah, if you compare those two, for instance, that example of the Forge World blade there's not really a comparison to be made. Those look infinitely better than that. There's no way around it, is there? And in fact, actually, to be fair, I've got some plastic stuff here as well. So this is a Grey Knight sword. I could have done with doing a little bit of filing maybe on this, but you can see that it's pretty much completely on par. There's obviously a bit of cleanup required off that because it's come off the sprue. So there's a couple of marks that need to be sorted, but yeah. Comparatively, they look really good. The detail's really nice. There's some nice little kind of additional stuff on these. So like the hilt and stuff on that one looks really good. The guard is really nice as well. Yeah, they're nice. They are genuinely really... I want to use them. That's the important thing. The important thing is that you want to use this stuff, isn't it? It's all very well it looking good, but it needs to kind of make you go, oh, I could do that with it. I get loads of ideas looking at this. Let's have a look at some of the two-handed stuff, actually. There is another sword as well, I'll point out. There's another sword and a shield. That, I'm guessing, a kind of... I don't know, would that be fair to say kind of maybe 1,000? So, no, I don't know, maybe even Emperor's Children. I'm not sure. I'm getting some sort of vibe off that. There's a really nice shield, which again has the like a gem and blood drop sort of motif going on, which that looks really, really nice to me. I really like the detail on that. So I'll turn it the right way around for you. Yeah, that's again, it's very, very clean. It's very clean. It's very nicely made. Like, no real prep work required. It's just ready to go straight out the box, which is exactly what you want, to be honest. Faffing around cleaning stuff and trimming stuff is hands down the most annoying part of doing any sort of kitbasher or conversion for me. So actually having stuff come out of the box just ready to go, kind of helpful. And then there's actually some nice detail on the other side of this that there didn't really need to be. So yeah, that's the back side of the shield. And with it, you get a little handle, which, again, nicely detailed, even though it doesn't really need to be. And there are some hands that come along with this. So, actually, you know, I'll show you the hands quickly, because the hands are genuinely kind of awesome. So, might need a little bit of cleanup these, but you get a little grippy hand, which just goes around the around the haft of a weapon. So, I have one already prepared right here. So that massive chainsaw, that is literally just a case of taking the hand and clipping it on and off, which makes things so lovely and easy. I really, really like that. I cannot tell you how much I like that. One of the things that is hardest to get right, I find, is, especially with third-party parts, just getting the hands to grip the weapons properly, because you have to mess about drilling and making sure that you don't go too far through, or like wrecking the hand or the fingers. These are genuinely really nicely made, really nicely designed. They just wrap around the handle and you just set. Obviously a little bit of cleanup needed on the wrist before you attach it to something, but filing a little bit off the wrist compared to drilling through the hand of the model, I'll take filing a little bit off the wrist. So we also have, just as a kind of another comparison point, we have some Forge World chain axes, which I got for a project ages ago, and I think I've still got them. I've still got those models. So I converted some Assault Marines to have chain axes because chain axes are cooler. That's literally it. That was the only reason. And the quality on them isn't great. I think, yeah, I used 4. I've got the other set here. I wanted a particular look, but also, frankly, there were some quality issues with some of this stuff. So I had to pick and choose kind of carefully which ones I used was both like based largely on the style and also how much cleanup was required. And the 4 that I like, the 3 that I used. No, 4 that I used actually were marginally cleaner than these, and these are not clean. There's a load of residue all over this. You can see it glinting and shining. It looks like greasy, and just the overall quality is not great at all. I mean, especially this one. This set is the worst, I think. Like, if you look at just that axe there, that it's like molded to the chunk. It's like there is not much of a boundary between what is model and what is just leftovers. Like what is attaching it to this chunk here, and you just don't want to mess about with it, do you? It's just a pain. Like doing that much cleanup and stuff for the sake of a single weapon is not fun. And then in comparison, like if you look at this, I mean, just look at this. it's just so much nicer. It's just so much nicer, this stuff. Like, that double-bladed, like, massive chain axe it's just so much better. It's just so much nicer. The detail is like more crisp. There's no cleanup. Like, the detail on this one, it's got like a sort of chain wrapped hilt. And again, it's crisp, it's finished, it's just, there's no messing around required, which is a genuinely big deal. You know, if we get the I keep forgetting what this thing's called. I keep wanting to say executioner, but it's not. It's X something. But yeah, I really do like this stuff. It looks really, really nice. And there's a couple more weapons. So we have a spear. Now I'd say the only criticism I have is that there's a little bit of there's bend in like the halves of the weapons, which is a tiny bit off-putting. It's maybe not quite as solid. I mean, this spear is admittedly a pretty extreme example of it, because it is quite a thin piece. But that's the only criticism I have. The only criticism is that it's maybe a little bit bendy. But then again, having said that, if you're storing your minis properly and you're not just throwing them in a toolbox, then it shouldn't be that much of an issue. You know, if you store your stuff properly, because that is a criticism for sure. But by the same token, if you dump a bunch of stuff on top of, say, one of these plastic weapons from Games Workshop, they're a bit more solid, but they're still give. Not as much give as these, admittedly, but they're still give, and they'll still bend. So it's just a case of, provided you're careful, which you should be anyway, it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I quite like this spear. I don't know what I'd use this for. I'm thinking probably I will use this for a chosen for the Emperor's Children, to be honest, because it looks really nice. And again, there's some really nice detail on the axe. Oh, the little power unit at the top there. Again, a little bit bendy, but as I say, provided you're not just chucking your stuff like in boxes willy-nilly with no regard for them, it shouldn't be a problem. Like, it really shouldn't be that much of an issue. So yeah, that is the stuff that I've been sent by Conversion World. I am genuinely impressed with how nice these weapons are. They look good. The detail's really good. The amount of like cleanup and kind of stuff that you need to do to get them prepared seems to be absolutely minimal, which is not what I'd expect. I was going to say what I expect, but it's not. I would actually expect to have to do a load of cleanup, but you just don't. They come like this in a nicely protected little box, and you're pretty much set and ready to go straight off the bat. So yeah, I'm genuinely impressed with this, and I'm definitely going to be using more of it, and not just because it was sent to me. I will actually probably end up buying a lot of this stuff as well now, because the quality is really good. Some of the best I've seen, easily. And I have tried a lot of third-party weapons because I need all of the things. So yeah, looks really nice. Thank you very much for watching. The details for Conversion World are in the description down below. Thank you again to them for sending this stuff over. And at some point during the week, as I say, we will use these weapons to create some chosen for my Emperor's Children. They are going to be the best dressed chosen in town, and they will have the nicest weapons in town as well, which is exactly how it should be for, I was going to say the Emperor's finest, but they're not really anymore, are they? Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click any of the stuff you see on the screen, Patreon, subscribe videos, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.